Hey guys, on this week's 100th episode, I'm going to talk about Dead by Daylight.
The Grand Gamers Guild is trying to do their part to help Ukraine.
I'm going to talk about a BoardGameTables.com Kickstarter I'm interested in, and we got to play some more Blood on the Clock Tower Teensyville, which is super epic.
And the designers of Star Wars Outer Rim finally clean up some unfinished business.
Wah, wah. All that and more coming at you now. Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Dan.
And this is Board Game Rundown. Today, for our 100th episode, I decided to stay home.
Yay!
Yay.
Thank God.
No.
That's what's special.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know?
So much room.
Literally,
Yeah.
it just doesn't smell
I'm
here
gonna assume
anymore.
that's because Spencer's not there.
Sure.
And not me.
Yeah. Okay.
That's true. Yeah, Spencer's also out.
Yeah.
Right. But unlike Spencer, I'm showing up still.
Wow.
That's what's important.
Shade.
That's
it?
what's important.
Is that what's important?
No. Yeah. No, due to I just got a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm getting ready to go on this week-long trip to Disney. So I am filming from home while the guys soldier on. So it won't matter because the next bunch of filming will all be review episodes and stuff. So I won't be on those. But
Yay.
I didn't not want to be on the 100th, of course, right?
Mhm.
We will be doing something special for the 100th. It is to be determined. Like
TBD.
I said, I had a ton of stuff going on, and so it's been hard for me to be able to put the attention that it deserves into it. But we're gonna do something fun, I'm sure.
Yeah. But
So
make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, share the show, get your friends in the know, and do all those YouTube things.
do all those YouTube things because as we are growing in subscribers and views, we're doing giveaways. We do all kinds of fun and crazy stuff, and sometimes we have friends of the show. Mike started off as just like
Friend of the show.
a guy that would talk to us about the show and things like that, and now he's on.
Random guy that
you-
slept outside the store that said, guys, can I come in for a couple videos?
Then he paid us
Fine.
off.
Yeah, and we allowed it.
Right.
We are open to
Right.
bribes.
Well, so anyways, let's start off with games we played, and
Yeah.
then we will do news and crowdfunding / Kickstarters.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'll go first because I only have like 3.
Okay.
Right? Last week we played from Peterson Games, Evacuate.
Mm.
It is it's a smaller box game. It was they did a Kickstarter where they released I don't know, there was like 4 or 5 different little
Small box type games.
smaller box type games like Marry the Monster. There's Potions and Profits, Evacuate, Invasion of the Brood. I've got it over here somewhere. Invasion of the Brood, and Invasion of the Brood's a 2-player game. But anyways, we played Evacuate. You're like on this spaceship, and you basically, these cards come out, and it's like a hallway that you're running down, more or less. And you're playing cards from your hand that will give you different types of movement or abilities. Like maybe you're just going to hide, and so you won't get affected by, an event card that comes up. And the interesting thing about this one is when anytime you do to one of those event cards, if you lose one of your population, you're going to add a card from this, I say market, but it's really like a fixed set of cards. You're going to pick one that can be good or bad to add basically to the invasion deck, right? Or the draw deck, right? As that you're pulling from. If at any time 2 of the good cards are in the discard pile, you shuffle the whole deck back together. So it keeps like cycling through. And some of the event cards will take away survivors from the person that's in the front of the group. Sometimes it's for the person that's in the last of the group. Sometimes it's the people that have the most survivors. So there's all different kinds of things. Once you meet like a certain limit, then the escape ship, shows up, and then you play until that card comes out. You stop reshuffling that deck, and you play until that card pops up, and then the person with the most survivors wins. I don't know that we fully grasped all the rules like the first time we were playing it. So we haven't done a review yet because we want to play it a little bit more, like just so we really understand it. Because there were some things that were like pretty cool, and there were some things that felt like they could be kind of frustrating. But without really knowing like that we were doing it 100% right, I don't want to go in and really provide criticism or critique about it. So
I like how all the little minis are like the Mars Attacks guys.
Right.
They look like yeah.
I love the idea behind the game. I love the
They're running, and there's somebody running back this way. Like, oh, we're going this way now. Okay.
you're just running back and forth up this hallway and just slowly getting picked off or whatever. Like, I love the idea behind it. But yeah, there were some elements that we thought either weren't explained super well, which again, first time we might have just misread things,
right,
or that just didn't feel exactly right. So we're gonna play it some more.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Also, I've been playing a ton of Star Realms online. I've been playing my ongoing Ascension game with Mike Picorni. Man, he smoked me. So I could not get any combinations going. It was embarrassing. I lost by a lot of points.
That's good to hear. Yeah, that's good to hear.
It was really tough. I'll let you guys go. If there's something I've forgotten, I'll jump in later, but go for it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I know two of us, we got to play Tiny Towns yesterday.
We did. Yep.
I'll let Bob go into more detail if he'd like on that one. That was a really cool game. First time playing it.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Like, I guess because it had Tiny in it. I thought it was gonna be one of those like Tiny Epic games, which I'm not a real big fan of. But it was super neat because there's all these different cards that go to these different buildings, and then as you're going around, the master builder is going to name off a colored resource, which thankfully the colors are very easy to distinguish. There's none of them that are super close together, so I didn't have a hard time with that. But they call off a resource, and you've got this little like 5x5 grid area, and you're gonna put a resource into one of those little blocks. Each of the houses and buildings that you can build has a certain color cube and design makeup. Once you have cubes in that layout on your little map, you can remove those cubes and place one of those buildings in one of those spaces that resource came off of. And you're trying to build as much stuff as you can to try to get as many points as you can. And once you can't place something, then you're out. And you keep going till everybody's out. And then whoever has the most points is going to win. But yeah, there's a lot of replayability. There's so many different cards that you get. Like, oh, there's this the farm. You're like, okay, yeah, it's just the farm. Well, no, there's like 4 different farm cards or 5 different farm cards, and then there's like banks, churches, farms, and then what was the other one? Cottages. There was he had the friendly local game store was a promo card that he had. But yeah, it was I was really surprised with how much like depth and stuff was in that game with Tiny in the name.
Yeah, I was impressed with that too. And even with the teach, we played it in probably 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was like under an hour.
Yeah. 5 players with the teach. There's a lot of depth and replayability of that game for sure.
It's pretty good.
Before that, I got to play Dune Imperium with 4 players.
Oh.
Now, we didn't use the
Right?
expansion. Yeah, there were 2 guys that we had to teach. We didn't use the expansion because it's something I'd rather learn ahead of time.
You didn't know it, and
not have to teach from the book. I really try not to do that. But everybody really enjoyed it. Paul was really into like the Dune lore. I don't really know anything about that universe, so the theme unfortunately doesn't do anything for me.
And that was the last time we let Mike on the show.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Don't try to learn from the new movie, by the way. You might fall asleep.
So
too slow. Sorry.
Such a great movie.
Slow. But yeah, so I mean, for me, without the theme doing anything for me, it's deck building, worker placement.
Yep.
It's very tight, but also very deterministic. You must win conflicts to win that game.
Yes.
And there's that tension around everybody's trying to gear up to. There's a timing of I got enough guys in my garrison that I could probably pull off this next one, but they're gonna die off, and maybe I'll just load back up on the next round, and then the round after that I'll try to get more guys into the conflict. I like that kind of ebb and flow of trying to get guys in conflicts because you can't win them all. Yeah, it was really good actually. Micah, the 13-year-old, won that one. He was the other experienced player, and he's a very good tactician for a 13-year-old for sure. But everybody had a good time. I definitely would prefer to play that 3+. I'm not a big fan of running AI. I think the Dune Imperium AI works very well. And that's not why I wouldn't play it with 2, but because of the conflicts, you really got to have 3+. The conflicts shine when there's more people involved in them, for
Agreed.
sure. But yeah, really enjoy that one.
I'm going to point out really quick, I am not saying that it's easy. I'm not disagreeing with you. I will just say that I have won Dune Imperium before over ever getting 1 victory point from conflict.
Wow.
So it is possible, but you have to play so perfectly with everything else.
You'd have to really focus on getting alliance with all the different
Alliances
factions.
and the Spice Must Flow cards, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to really build a deck.
Recruit your
that,
butt
that
off.
gets that. Yeah.
Intrigue cards can give you some.
That's true too. Get
That would
lucky
be
with
a
intrigue
fun
cards.
way to play.
Right.
I almost want to try to exclusively do that.
Right.
Because that's why I feel like the game is linear. I guess I didn't believe that would be a viable path in that game, so I haven't tried it. Whereas I think there's other less linear deck building, worker placement games out there. But knowing that that's a viable strategy now, like I want to try that.
Yeah, no.
So-
Again, it was really fulfilling because it is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really got to go up get all the
Okay.
cards that sent you to those outer locations so you can get all
Sure.
of your stuff up.
Yeah, that would be a fun way to play. I'd like to see that actually work.
Yeah.
Also, during that meetup, we played Point Salad. Fun little filler that's a point salad game. Every vegetable gives
Meta.
you points. Yeah. Enjoy that one a lot. I showed one of my buddies came over for a very disappointing March Madness game, and before that game, we played Taverns of Tiefenthal, 2 players.
So good.
He felt like he couldn't quite get his engine going like he wanted. He felt like it was a couple rounds too short. I still feel like I haven't played that game well.
It's true.
So I see where he's coming from. I still enjoy it. I want to keep playing it.
That's another game made by King Midas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wolfgang Warsch.
Yep. Love all his games. But yeah, definitely enjoy that one. We also played some Blueprints at my house before these guys got into Dark Tower. Also a good little dice drafting filler game that I'm a big fan of. And I've played some Genshin Clever with my girlfriend that may or may not make it onto a list. Spoiler.
What?
Okay. Stay tuned next week.
My
What?
favorite roll and write currently. But yeah, have a blast with that. And just like Tim plays Star Realms on his phone every day, I'm playing Genshin Clever on my phone every day. So
Nice.
love that app. Play it a lot. And then there were, of course, some Blood on the Clock Tower, Teensyville games that happened. We'll leave that for Dan's segment, however.
Okay, well, a couple things first. I was able to actually, for the first time in like literally over 6 months, I was able to have some games at my house with Catherine. So first we played Shipwreck Arcana, game that I talk about a lot. Cooperative deduction game where we are trying to figure out what numbers we have in each other's hand. I'm not going to go too far into it because we talk about it every episode. So yeah, Shipwreck Arcana by Meramorph Games. Fantastic if you want a cheap, great cooperative deduction game. Then I have a story that I already told Bob. I spoiled because I forgot Bob was going to be on this show. For some reason, I swapped him and Spencer in my head. But so we played. You guys look the exact same. So we played the Quacks of Quedlinburg. It was a game I got for Christmas. I don't honestly love the game very much, but Catherine loves it. And the whole reason it was on my Christmas list was so that I didn't have to buy it. I was like, hey, here's a way that you can get the game you like, and we don't have to pay for it. Let's pay for good games. So all this gameplay did was reaffirm that I don't have fun playing this game because I literally had the worst luck in the world. I exploded every round. Every round, like my first 4 or 5 tokens were white.
You know what the key is?
And I was like,
play better.
yeah, tell me about it. Yeah.
The bag.
You don't think I did? You don't think by the end, you know how mad I was? At the end of the game, in the 9th round or whatever, I have like 80 tokens in there. I'm shuffling it all up. White. Break this game. I hate it. No, I don't hate it. It's a fine game. It's fun, but I just have the worst luck when I play a game. Like, I'm not allowed to have fun when I play that game. Like, how can I have 40 tokens in my bag and pull 5 white in a row? What is the universe telling me when that happens? So,
Just give up.
yeah. So Quacks is
love that
that's
game.
another game by the same guy, right?
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's King Midas as well. So yeah, Quacks Quedlinburg by Wolfgang Warsch. Okay, then I'll mention Return to Dark Tower first.
That's one I forgot to say. There's 2 I forgot. Return to Dark Tower is definitely one of them.
Right. Well, so I've played it quite a few times because then we played it at Spencer's. It was me, Spencer, my brother, and Jesse. And
That was at my house.
Yes. What did I say? Sorry.
Spencer's.
Sorry. Yeah. At Mike's house.
Some dark, dimly lit basement.
Yeah.
Tim's?
But and Mike watched for about maybe half the game. And we had a really good, intense game. It went a little long, but that's because we were determined to finish and win, and we did. We also figured out how the boss fight works. Spencer and I purposely wanted to figure that out. So how the boss fights work in that game is because it says that you can stop at any time, right, and leave and come back and blah blah blah. But then you'll notice, so like if I leave and come back and then Bob goes, he still has all the same number
Damage
of cards
on it.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So how it works is any what are the rerolls called?
Rerolls?
Where you lower the numbers on things. Wild.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those
Advantages.
things. There you go.
So any advantages you spend on cards stay. So what you're doing with the boss is you're slowly whittling down how strong they are. So if I go in there and I go to the first card and I use all my advantages and I get it down to its weakest point and then leave, you know that next time you go in there, if you pull that card, because you randomly pick 5, that card is going to be starting at a positive for you.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you're going in there one by one, hitting him and slowly dwindling those down until they're either beatable or just all good for you. Like you're gaining stuff instead of losing stuff, So that's how the boss fights work. And it was a fascinating system for us to fight through and kind of go in wave after wave and just slowly weaken him until my brother was able to go in as the like tanky barbarian character you were playing and just wipe him down. But yeah, so we finished Dark Tower, had a really good time.
Nice.
With that game. Liked it just as much. Zach, my brother, also kind of walked away saying, like, wow, what an experience. Like, he loved it. He's been telling his friends about it. Really good time. And then that brings us to the other thing at Mike's house, which was Blood on the Clock Tower. So it was actually hilarious. We got there, and we were like, let's play a quick Teensyville Blood on the Clock Tower because Caleb had only ever played once. Jesse had never played. And no one there, except for me, had played in real life. I believe, because when we played, no one that was that group played there. So we played a quick game of Teensyville with a script that Mike created. Everyone seemed to have a good time. And then I said, Mike was the storyteller of the game, and I said, hey, Mike, let's do a second game. I'll be storyteller this time so that you can actually play. I want you to be able to play and everything. And so we did that. And then after that, Caleb had kind of a time limit on when he had to go, so he said, let's just keep playing Blood on the Clock Tower until I have to leave, because I don't want to like start a game and not be able to finish and stuff. And everyone was having such a good time with the game that they just wanted to play again. And then Jesse, who had never played before, said, let me look at the script really quick. He read over the script for like 5 minutes. He was looking at it. He said, I kind of saw everything you guys do. Run me over some of the rules I wouldn't know really quick. I want to storytell this game. So
Nice.
Jesse then, having never played before that night, had never even seen the game before that night, stood up and was the storyteller of that game. And he only made one mistake, which I also made one mistake, and I think Mike made 1 or 2 mistakes, but it's just that we were doing things in real life for the first time. So having to do, not keeping notes and having to remember how certain things work, we just made some small mistakes. But and Jesse's was a mistake that he never would have known he made, because basically the poisoner poisoned someone and then died. And Jesse wouldn't have known that since the poisoner's no longer alive, his poisoning goes away immediately, and the person's ability should have worked normally, right? That's such a rare occurrence that wouldn't have been explained to Jesse. Hey, just in case this happens,
right?
Yeah. But so he did a great job. So yeah, we played 3 consecutive back-to-back games of Teensyville Blood on the Clock Tower, and I think everyone had a fantastic time. Everyone was laughing. Teensyville's a little rough for evil, because the demon gets no buffs, and evil players don't know who's on their team. So it really is everyone just shooting in the dark. As a matter of fact, in one of the games, I can't remember which one, the demon killed his minion because he didn't know who he was. That's when the whole poisoning mishap happened. And so it's a little rougher on evil in that one, but so you gotta, give him some powerful abilities. And we encountered for the first time the Goblin in real life, which I have been jokingly saying probably Mike's most hated character in the game, because he brick walls when that character comes out.
Well, when you've got a minion ability that basically says if you publicly declare to be the Goblin and you get executed, your team wins if you are the Goblin. So I'm like, okay, this is night 1 or day one. I'm not taking a chance of the evil team getting an insta win. I'm just not taking that chance. I would rather just let's just try to execute somebody else that maybe won't claim to be the goblin. They die, and then we've got another day to talk about whether we actually think Dan is the goblin or not. Like, that was my strategy, and I feel like we did that successfully, but man, it was an easy play each time for the evil team. It did stonewall me, but I also felt like I would rather get more information than take the risk of losing instantly because we executed the wrong person.
Right. It was just so funny seeing like there'd be a vote on someone, let's just say me, right? And Mike would like have his hand up for a yes vote, and I'd be like, guys, you don't want to kill me. I'm a good player. Like I'm this character. I would do this. Also, I claim goblin. And Mike would just go, let's not execute him.
Fine.
Just like,
Fine.
Just watch him collapse.
You son of a...
It's so funny. But yeah, no, fantastic game. I cannot wait to
fun.
have an actual full player count game in real life. I'm really looking forward to playing with like the actual full rule set and everything like that. And full scripts. But yeah, we've talked about Blood and Clock Tower a lot. You guys understand it for the most part at this point. We had a great time playing.
It is
in real
incredible,
life.
and the more we play, the more it solidifies our high ranking for it. Keep your eyes posted for some Discord games. We want it to happen.
Yeah, Mike is desperately trying to get some storytelling in. It's just that finding a day that works for everyone has been tough. It looks like we're going to need to do like, honestly, it seems like a Friday night works for most people. But we'll have to look at that because that then cancels game night. So, pros and cons.
Right. So I had a couple that I played. I went to one of our local game stores I normally don't get to go to on a Friday because I was off work early on a Friday. So that's always nice. But we played Waiting for People to Get Done, wrapped up rapidly becoming one of my favorite games, Mob the Big Apple. 2-player game, a little area control action selection game. I taught a friend how to play that. And then we busted up
really quick. Yeah. I also played Mob the Big Apple. You guys had me and Spencer play.
Nice.
So that was in this last week. So
Yep.
I was able to play it as well.
Excellent. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool little game. I need to play it some more to see it. I like what it gives you more than the game itself, right? The game itself is fun, and I would play it, but I just love the fact that you get a nice,
area control.
kind of thinky area control worker placement game in 30 minutes. Like what it gives you is amazing and will fill a slot on your game shelf that doesn't usually exist.
Yep.
Is it like the best game ever? I don't think so,
Sure.
but you're not going to find many games that do that.
Right.
So
yeah, you can get a lot in there for a short amount of time, and it's easy to get to the table. Yep. Also played a game of Raw with 4 players, so that was pretty. Oh, and it wasn't even me that started it too, because like 3 of us got knocked out, and it was down to 1 guy, and he had like 3 Raw tiles before the round was over, and so he starts pulling it, and this guy next to me is just like Raw.
Oh, nice. So he's played before.
No, he hadn't. That was the first time he had played. I know, right? That's why it was so great. I was like, yes. We also played Dice Forge, which is another fantastic game, like popping off the sides, building your own dice, rolling them over and over again, and gaining all those resources. It's a well-produced game. Enjoyed that one. Then we had our Meeple event on Saturday. We started with Rolling Realms, which went really well. We had 2 or 3 turns in, and we had somebody show up. So like, okay, hey, these were your numbers. Go ahead and fill them in real quick.
Right.
We caught them up to speed. Like, ready? Okay. And then we continued, and we kept going.
Drop in, drop out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But that's another one of my favorite roll and writes. The production value you get for such a cheap amount of money, and just the concept of because each card that you're playing is a different Stonemaier game, and they're themed and play the way those games play, right? In the viticulture one, you're making wine. In like the scythe one, you have a top row action. You can do a bottom row action too if you have the right resources.
The scythe row one is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
the way that they implemented that mechanic is so cool.
Super cool. So I hope more cards come out for more Stonemaier games.
Me too. I was only able to show up for like an hour and a half or something Saturday, so I just showed up. We played most of Rolling Realms, and then everyone arrived, and I headed out for work. So.
After that, we did a large 5-player count game of Lords of Vegas, and that was fantastic. Taught some new people how to play. We used the up expansion, and normally with that, you're only allowed to go up as far as there are people, and this is the largest player count I've ever gotten to play it with. And so, like, we had one guy, he had like just a couple of singles, and he's just like, well, here's 45. I'm gonna put 3 floors on there, and so he had 2 different buildings at 5 stacks each, and like it was crazy. So I mean, he wasn't getting a ton of money, but man, he was scoring some good points on there, and but that went really well. Everybody had a really good time playing that game.
Awesome game
awesome
for the
game.
record.
Yeah.
Officially.
Right,
Dan?
Well. I know, because like we were trying to figure out what to play, and it was between Dune Imperium and Lords of Vegas, and Mike's like, had a hard time picking. I was like, I'll let you pick, and I'll play with whichever one. There's a win-win on that decision there.
I lost.
Yeah. So then, like after we got done with Lords of Vegas, we were still waiting on them to get done with their Twilight Imperium. It felt like a Twilight Imperium.
No wonder you're still waiting.
Dune Imperium. So we played Cat Lady. I had never played Cat Lady before, but it's like a kind of a simple. You have a large stack of cards, and you've got a 3x3 grid, and you're basically taking either one row or one column of cards each turn, and you're kind of like set collecting. You're getting cats, and you have to make sure they're fed with food and getting toys. But there's also this little cat meeple, and so if you take this row, you put the cat meeple there as it gets refilled, and that way nobody can go and just take that same exact row. Unless you got a spray bottle, you can squirt the cat with water and move the cat somewhere else, and then you can take the row that it was just protecting. And so it's just kind of a neat little kind of filler game. Took us about 20, 30 minutes to play through the whole deck, but it was fun. It was a good time.
How's it smell?
Fine. Oh, boy.
It was fine. Didn't smell bad.
It's Cat Lady. I'm sorry. Those up in there.
Yeah.
So what I forgot to mention, other than the Return to Dark Tower, which I thought was really good when I played it, was really pleasantly surprised with that, was a Nemesis Lockdown.
Yep.
I don't think I've talked
That's the
about
last thing
it.
on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, we all played that.
Yeah, and I don't know that I want to say it's like an improvement on Nemesis, but I definitely had a better time playing Lockdown than maybe the last couple of times I've had playing Nemesis.
I think it's better. I think the addition of the everybody has that little bit of hidden information, and there's one that we don't know about, the elevator and the power.
The way the power works.
Yeah, I enjoyed those new mechanics. And there's like different ways to kind of get out. I mean, I guess there kind of was in the first one too, but there's the isolation chamber, there's the escape pods, or there's the bunker. So
right.
I enjoy how there's different ways to win on that. And I had one more game, Blank Slate, hit the table, and it was a hit. And it was one of the closest games ever, which was funny because I got all the way to the end, and a different Tim needed 1 point, and I was 2 points from winning. He got 1 point, but I matched for 3 points at the end. So technically, I beat him by 1 point. He was so salty, but it was fun. It was a good game. Everybody was within a couple of points, except for like maybe one person. So yeah, it was really, really close game.
It's a really good game.
So good.
It kind of came out of nowhere.
It did. Yep. That was all the games I played, except for some Gloomhaven Online. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah. So now the next 45 minutes, Dan and I are going to talk about Elden Ring and how it's amazing. Stop playing it. But no, we'll get into some news.
Yeah.
Some personal news. If you've been on the Discord, I don't remember if I put it on the Facebook page or not, but I had finally received the big box double expansion for one of my favorite games, Australia, only to find that it looked like they played rugby with it. I mean, the box had like all these holes on the side. The shipping box had all these holes on the side. And I've had scares like this before where then I've opened up my box and it's fine. You know what I mean? You open up the shipping box and like, oh, my game's fine. It's in good shape. This time was not the case. I had a huge hole punched in the back of it. And I was just like, they never replace damaged boxes on like Kickstarters. It's like the hardest thing. It's one thing if you've got broken or missing components. But my wife made a good point. Good thing she doesn't watch because she won't know that she was right.
Right.
She's like, well, the fact that it's the big box and it's meant to hold the core game and the expansions, shouldn't they replace that? Like, because that's part of the draw of the Kickstarter.
Yeah. And
I was like, good point. And I'm not usually one to just, email or, negatively comment publicly, the company. But I sent them an email. They responded very quickly and was just like, send us some pictures, save your shipping carton, take pictures of that as well, and send them to us. And within 2 days, they had redirected me to Stronghold, who had filled the Kickstarter, and they were like, Send us the pictures again with your shipping address, your Kickstarter name, blah, 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 blah. And within 2 hours, they sent me an email back going, we're so sorry what happened to your box. We're sending you a new box. And I was like, okay. Was having a terrible week. And that box showed up on the worst day it could have. And within a couple of days, I know it'll take a few weeks before I get my box, but I don't care. They are fixing a problem, for me.
Righting their wrong.
No, and all it took was for me to just take a couple pictures and fire off a couple emails. Mm-hmm. So it was very low, like it wasn't like it was a big hassle or anything. So just a shout out to the Showmill Games people and the Stronghold Games customer service, because really just made my day, because I was so bummed because I love Australia so much.
Right.
And I was looking forward to having this nice big box. The only bad thing about the box, when it doesn't have the hole in it, is that in the original, my original Kickstarter version of the Australia box, right? It's a guy looking through binoculars, and in the reflection of the glass in the binoculars, you see like Cthulhu way off in the distance, right? On my original base game box, that part is like shiny and like kind of reflective.
Sure.
In the new box, it's not like that. I was like, oh. But I'm like, I'm getting a new box. I don't care. Like, and obviously I've got everything all packed in my punctured box because I just couldn't wait and wanted to look at everything and punch it all out.
Right.
But anyways, happy ending to my very sad story.
Yeah. I kind of wish that on the big box, the box art would have been a close up of Cthulhu's eye, and you see a little reflection of a guy way in the distance looking through binoculars.
That would be funny.
That's what I wish.
Yeah. But I mean, that reminds me, I want to say, like, if you have a problem with like a Kickstarter or a game or something you've ordered, reach out. Don't just get online and blast companies, because accidents happen and things happen. Give them a chance to write, what went wrong before you go blasting them on the internet.
Well, and 99% of the time, the shipping problems aren't the company. They didn't punch a hole and be like,
there's Tim's. Give Tim that piece of crap. Yeah.
Well, and honestly, that's why I thought I was out of luck, and I wasn't gonna crap on the company because of that. I would have just complained about FedEx, you know what I mean, and UPS, or not UPS, but but no, it wasn't their fault. They fixed it. I'm so happy. And you're right, Bob. Absolutely. Reach out before you just go and start
blasting. Yep.
Because give them a chance. Give them a chance to fix something. A lot of times they will.
Yeah.
Most companies will try.
Yeah. You don't have to be like a super mega influencer like Tim is.
Australia's going up the hotness as we speak.
That's right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So in other news, I believe it's Renegade Games. I don't remember who makes Hunger. Yeah, it's Renegade.
Yep.
They have announced an expansion.
Yes.
For the Hunger, high stakes. This one's got vampire hunters and werewolves that you have to combat. New event cards that I believe are going to give people like asymmetric powers.
Nice.
And things like that. So we will just see. I enjoyed the Hunger. I know that some people don't or haven't, but yeah, we need to also play it more. But I really like it.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I didn't love it, but I completely admit I need to play it more for sure.
It's not like a Clank killer or anything, and it's similar in design.
Yeah, sure. It's similar design, but it's not a. Yeah, it wouldn't replace Clank for me. So.
Right. Also coming from Renegade Games soon, you can pre-order it, is a game called Birdwatcher. Have you guys seen this one?
Uh-uh.
So you are trying to photograph. Oh, so Bob.
Yeah.
What do you think of when I say birds of paradise?
It's a 1 green, 0/1 flyer, taps for colored mana.
Yeah, any color your choice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're trying to take photographs of birds of paradise, and
nice.
in this bird watcher, but you're trying to lure them to your trees, and then take pictures of them, and then you are publishing your findings, and then the person with the most citation points wins. It's 1 to 5 players, plays in 25 to 60 minutes.
It's a weird time frame.
Right.
You can be like 30 to 60. Why 20? I don't know. 25.
Not a half hour. Could be under a half hour.
That's right.
But yeah, it looks interesting. The artwork looks really solid. They had a person who does like the professional artwork for like the science books and things like that. Doing the art, lots of good color and everything. Really, really solid. Downer news, Half Monster Games, I believe they're Australian based. They did a game we talked about on a Kickstarter segment a long time ago. Trust Me, I'm a Doctor.
Oh yeah.
And then they've got another one that's got a similar name. Anyways, they're done. They're finishing up all their Kickstarter obligations and everything. But they're no longer operating as a company as of now. They do, one half of the team is doing like a Patreon, and he's working on some design stuff still. So if you follow Half Monster Games, you can still, one half of that duo is still producing stuff, but it's going to be on a different level. But anyways, you guys got some news? I've got one other thing, but going to segue into the crowdfunding.
Sure. I got a little one. So our friends over at the Grand Gamers Guild, we're always big fans when people do things like this, but they've released an Ukrainian ambassador card for Endangered. And so you can get on their website. You can pay $5 for it. All the proceeds are going to help everything going on over there. Also, if you pre-order the Endangered Monarch Butterflies, you can get that card added on for cheaper, and you don't have to pay for shipping because it'll all be included. And again, all the proceeds from that will go to Ukrainian relief to help with what they're dealing with. So we always think it's a good idea when companies try to help out. And
yep, that's awesome.
So yeah,
it's fantastic.
I didn't know it was for Endangered.
Yep,
that's cool.
Yeah, because in the Endangered game, like you draw from the ambassador decks, and then you flip them over, and they're just different countries, right? And so now there will be one from Ukraine that you can get.
So, very cool.
Sure, I have some pretty obvious news. You guys shared it in our Discord, but I mean, I own the game, so I just feel kind of entitled to talk about it because I'm also... Nice. Because I'm also excited for it. It's a game that I think everyone has been waiting for to get an expansion, and that's Star Wars Outer Rim Unfinished Business. So we talked about it when the box art was revealed months back, and now we have some actual information on it. I mean, so there's three big things that are being added. The first thing is the end caps now are the core worlds, right? Instead of what it was with the little normal, just one planet and the ships launching in. So now there's like core worlds that have their own special event cards where you choose if you're actually like landing on the planet or just flying through the core worlds, and the card will have two different effects depending on which one you say that you're doing when you land there. And then there's an interesting system. I actually like this a lot. You can exchange favor for debt in this now. So favor is like the victory points in the game. You have to get a certain amount of favor to win. And so I can ask Bob to give me a favor. Right? Like, so he's giving me a victory point with the promise of a future help, right? And you give me a debt token. You give me your debt token, and I now have that token sitting in front of me, and at any point you can ask me for, I want to say a favor, but it's not like literally the victory point favor. It's anything that you need, a flyby, something like this.
I need you to take that ship out.
And you don't even ask me. You're saying, I need you to do this for me. You just take your debt token from me, and I have to pay my debt to you.
So you have to do it, though?
Yeah, I have to pay my debt.
I was kind of wondering, no.
Yeah, when you take the token, I have to fulfill that promise.
Interesting.
And I like that system a lot. It's very on theme with the smuggler, thing. And then the last thing, of course, is we have, 8 more characters coming to the game here, and that's not even counting all the cards that are getting added. So they point out in the press release thing that Han Solo and Chewbacca can both be crewmates, or Han Solo and Boba Fett can both be crewmates for you now because they're playable in the base game. So as long as no one's playing them, they can be crew now.
Okay.
But the 8 playable characters, some really cool ones, some who cares. So we got Maz Kanata. Weird choice, but I mean, sure, someone will play Maz. Black Chrysanthemum, which I know has a bit of a fan base. He's pretty cool. Cad Bane is probably the highlight here. Yeah. Cad Bane. Well, I guess the next one is the real highlight. I honestly was surprised when I was like, oh yeah, he wasn't in the base game, was he? But yeah, Cad Bane, huge fan base, and now with Mandalorian and
Spoilers.
stuff, he's who cares? This show's been out for months.
Get on it. Oh,
But and then the next big one is Chewbacca. This is where I was like, oh, he wasn't in the base game. You're right. But yeah, so now someone can be, which is interesting though, because that means now someone can be Han Solo and someone else can be Chewbacca, and they can be going up against each other. Yeah.
It's just a rough patch. You know?
Yeah.
That's right.
They'll work it out.
they will.
But then you get the debt token, and then he has his life debt
That's
to
right.
you at that point. And then Dengar, I don't really care about him, but he has a kind of a cult following
yeah.
as well. Not
I
as
mean, you should
big.
have the OG Empire Strikes Back.
Right, exactly.
Bounty
Get them
hunters,
all
right?
in there.
Sure.
IG-88, Bosk, Dengar. Let's
Right.
get them all in
if
there.
MC Chris has a song about it, he should be in there.
This is probably the biggest Who Cares one, in my opinion, of course. That someone is going to freak out and say best character ever, but Enfys Nest.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean,
Best, best character ever.
yeah, I mean, it's not like she's terrible. It's just like,
Okay.
I guess to fill out the roster,
Sure.
Hera Syndulla, that's actually a huge one. That's the
Rebels.
Twi'lek from Rebels. Yeah, she's a Twi'lek, I think, right? She's something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
But yeah, she's like the captain of the Ghost or whatever. Huge fan base. I mean, people love Hera. There's a lot of rumors that she's going to be coming back for one of the shows. I don't know if
Mandalorian,
it's
Obi-Wan or
one of
something like
those.
that.
She's going to be coming back
Yeah.
for.
Oh, it might even be.
I think it's the
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah,
Ahsoka.
that's
Yeah.
what I've been hearing, because she was kind of with them in Rebels for a bit and stuff. And then the last one, this is just funny to me, Hondo Hanaka, which is, I don't know him very much, but he's like from the Clone Wars and stuff, maybe Rebels. He's from some cartoon stuff, but he's like the classic character I just really like and stuff like this. Like, if anyone watches Critical Role, it's kind of like the Tyrion Darrington kind of character, where he's just like, oh yes, we are best buds, I will always support you, and then Stormtrooper walks in, it's him. I love that. I love that kind of character. So that's his character. He's like the super nice guy until the second it benefits him to not be, and then he stabs you in the back, and then he instantly apologizes for stabbing you in the back. Yeah, I love that.
There's an animatronic Hondo that's at the front of one of the new rides at Galaxy's Edge. So it's not shocking that there's like
more of him.
Kind of a push for him. Sure.
right.
Yeah.
But that's what I have for Star Wars Outer Rim. Those are the big things getting at it. Again, I'm excited. I think this will up the game a bit. Star Wars Outer Rim is a very fun game. It's basically Firefly streamlined.
Yep.
It's still not perfect. It still has some flaws. I don't always want to play it, but it's a fun game. The other thing I really want to do is I see people play with pieces from like Star Wars. I don't know if it's X-Wing, because I think those are too big, but I think it's Armada. They use pieces from Armada as their ships to just kind of up that value a bit, and that's just really good looking. So yeah, it's a fun game, especially if you like Firefly. It really does do the same thing, but in an hour instead of 3.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I think Zaya Legend of a Drift System is still better. But I am excited that this game finally got a very, very, very long overdue expansion.
Yeah.
I think Unfinished Business is an apt title.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious.
I feel like they
Yeah.
had some of that.
Yep. Okay. Do you have any news, Mike, or no?
I'm an uninformed peon, so I have no news.
I love it.
No moves from Mike?
Know your place.
Know your role.
So my last bit of news then, which will lead into crowdfunding,
Sure.
is the day before. So when this episode launches, a Kickstarter that Dan and I will at least be very interested in,
Okay.
and Bob's interest is growing, will
mhm.
launch. March 29th, Dead by Daylight.
Oh yeah.
The Kickstarter launches.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that video.
3 to 5 players, 45 minutes. I am starting to be concerned though, because have you seen the picture of the board, Dan?
That's what I said last episode when we talked about it. We talked about it at some point, and the board.
it
I
looks
think the
terrible.
board looks terrible. I don't think. Again, that's why I'm really looking forward to the video, because I want to see what it actually looks
During
like when it's
gameplay,
played.
yeah.
But it looks like they just have a bunch of pictures of map areas, kind of like what Arkham Horror and stuff does,
Sure.
or Eldritch Horror, and then the cards are so bland. It's just like a picture of the jump action. So in order to go between these two locations to have a jump action between them, I just need to play the jump action card, and I can move to that location. I'm just like, is that Dead by Daylight to you? That is nothing like Dead
You
by
wonder if they
Daylight.
played the video game at all.
Yeah, and I can't. The company that made it made a different game that I remember thinking was good, and I can't remember what that game is.
Level 99 games.
Yeah, Level 99
I can't
games.
think- I can't think of what else they've made.
XCOM? Is that the XCOM company?
I thought XCOM was Fantasy Flight.
Millennium Blades.
Oh, Millennium.
They made Millennium Blades, which is a really cool game that really messes with a genre and does some cool stuff. And again, that's why I'm really looking forward, because I don't think the videos have done this game, or the pictures have done this game any justice. I'm really looking forward to seeing that video, and trust me,
Holding out hope.
yeah, next time that we talk, I will either be very kind or very harsh on this game. One of those two things are coming. As
Yeah,
someone
and-
who
Brace
Dead by
yourself,
Daylight
opinions
might
are
be
coming.
their favorite, like it's in my top 5 favorite video games ever. It is probably the video game I have the second most hours in ever. I literally think the first Dark Souls and then Dead by Daylight are the games I have the most hours in. It is not how I would have done it. That's all I'm saying.
I've been let down by video games that were turned into
Conversions?
board games.
Yeah.
Some games are hard to port over.
They are. Yep.
It does make you wonder, like, have they played this game?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the pictures and the promotional materials, it looks like there's the Trapper, the Doctor, Nurse, Hag, Wraith, Hillbilly on the killer side, and then on the survivors, I can't remember all their names, but I recognize Quentin and Nia like very quickly.
I'm sure there's probably Dwight, Claudette.
Oh, Dwight.
There's
yeah.
no way there's Quentin, because he's
Not Quentin.
yeah.
I wrote down Quentin. It's
Yeah.
Dwight.
Dwight, Nia, Claudette, Jake. Any of the
I don't
non-licensed ones.
Yeah.
Well, because
So it'll,
the collector's edition comes with twice as many survivors. So they probably have all the unlicensed ones in there if you get the collector's edition.
right. But anyways, it's something that I know Dan and I are pretty excited about, or at least very interested to see
Hopeful.
what it's going to look like.
Sure.
But that's it for news.
Okay.
Some other kind of crowdfunding then.
Sure.
It was mentioned on our Discord, and I was looking at it. It looks pretty neat. It's called Oak. It's on GameFound right now. By the time this comes out, you'll have about a week or so. It's going to end around April 6th or 7th. So, make sure you look at it quickly if it sounds interesting. But it's a worker placement hand management game for 1 to 4 people. Plays about 90 minutes by Wim. This is a funny name. Goosens, I think it's how it's pronounced. It's been by the Game Brewers. Standard editions for €50, deluxe for 85, but those are way cheaper than what the MSRPs are going to be. So if you are interested, this would be the way to go about it. One of the neat things about this is you're going to have all these little druids that you're going to have on your team, and you're going to be playing these cards from your hand. You'll be able to upgrade those cards to get better actions, but you'll also be sending those druids out to locations, and then you'll get to upgrade them, and they get little plastic bits you're going to actually put on your meeple, kind of like a Dwellings of Everdale where you put like their hat, the roof on their head.
Yeah.
But instead they're going to have like little satchels or hats and things like that to upgrade your druids with. But the insert, or the deluxe, looks like a much nicer way to go. It's got like a great looking insert. It has extra maps. There's silkscreen printings on the meeples. I usually try to do the deluxe versions of the stuff anyway, just because I like fancier bits. But it's nice that they do have an offer of either one on there. But it's on GameFound, like I said. It's called Oak. It looks pretty interesting.
It does. I believe Jonathan was the one that
I believe it
first
was
tasked
Jonathan
us.
that. Yep.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Sure. I have. First of all, I mentioned that. Were you going to talk about Jurassic, Tim?
Nope. Go
Okay.
for it.
I was just going to mention it really quick. I don't have a whole bunch of information on it because we've literally covered it like 3 weeks in a row now. But it is finally live. Prospero Hall's Jurassic World: The Legacy of Isla Nublar. The
Yes.
story game.
Legacy game?
Legacy game. It's literally in the title, and I couldn't think of the word. The legacy game of Jurassic Park that they have been teasing for a long time. It's 1 to 4 players, 90 to 120 minutes, and $120 is what it's set at. I'm not super interested, but like I'm interested in the idea.
Sure.
I
think dinosaurs. Maybe Spencer will get it.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm really interested. I hope someone I know gets it.
He's not here.
He's not.
He's not going to see this.
He's
now.
not going to watch.
That was a very seductive look. I want to go get it myself. I'm not even that interested in that campaign. Spoilers: the dinosaurs get loose.
Oh,
what?
What?
This is ridiculous.
What's the point of playing now?
Yeah.
But they spared no expense.
How could that happen?
Nice.
Yeah.
Spent all that time wondering if you could. You didn't ask yourself. if you
So I
should.
have another one, but I'll let it go around and see if it
Ha,
gets
ha.
mentioned. What's the magic word?
Ha ha ha.
You got it?
Mike, you got a crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding?
I do.
Kickstarter?
So I am a fan of a lot of stuff that BoardGameTables.com puts out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they make great
games.
tables.
Yep.
Had a table custom made based on one of their tables.
Their second gen bags are really nice too.
They have
Agreed.
great bags. Yeah. And so I have a couple of their games. The one that we've talked about the most is QE. That came from BoardGameTables.com.
Loot of Lima.
Luta
When they-
Lima and On Tour.
On tour.
Yeah.
Yes.
all great.
So that was all one campaign. It was 3 games. You could get one game individually, or you could pay one price and get all 3 of them. And I got QE and love it. Then they did a similar thing, and I got Bear Raid out of this campaign, and they had 2 other games that came with it. You could pledge
Pull it
for all
together.
3 of them. Well, this time they have Habitats, Basket Boss, and 9 Lives. And all of the games from this company are very approachable, have fairly low rule sets, but have so far
Except
for
for Loot of
me
Lima.
had very fulfilling gameplay. I have not played Bear Raid yet. I want to. It recently fulfilled the backers, so I'll get that played soon. But Habitats is like a tile laying game. It's very colorful. It's got like screen printed animal meeples, which look pretty cool. And it's got like kind of some different ways to score. Very pretty looking game. Basket Boss does something I have not seen in a game, and I'm a big fan of sports. I think it would be cool to see a game that makes you feel like you're the GM of the team. And this game has like an auction mechanic where you're bidding on players. And those players, maybe there's one player who, like, the game ages and the players have ratings based on what year of their career they're in. So maybe they play really well like their rookie year, but then they fade off after that. They're a one year wonder. You may have another player who improves every year. So as he gets farther along in his career, he continues to get better. There's like different like GMs and like associates that you can also bid on that give you like different powers that other players may not be able to use. So to see a sports game with like a GM aspect and auctioning, I think is very intriguing to me.
Right. It's like because there's a video game series that's just called like NFL Manager 2009 and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
so
Madden
Manager. Well, there's
No, just the Madden
Football
game.
Manager. Yeah,
Doesn't the
there you
Madden
go.
have
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Madden's got a GM mode. That you
Yeah.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
You
there's
can go
there's
and
literally a
balance.
game series called like Football Manager. That's
Yeah, like if you're a
just that
sports
part.
fan, sometimes you can have fun just like signing contracts and seeing guys improve and not even actually playing Madden. But I'm one of those people. I'm
Sure.
weird. And then the other third game in that 9 Lives is like a
Cats.
cat-themed trick-taking game where you can kind of put a wager on how many tricks you think you're going to take. So that one looks pretty unique. So all 3 of those games can be had for $89 for all 3 of them. I mean, that's a pretty good price point. And definitely interested in that campaign. You might find me as a backer. There's 11 days left as of this filming. It's raised like $115,000. So looks like a cool campaign.
Is that on Kickstarter or GameFound?
It is on Kickstarter.
Okay.
Okay,
Kickstarter.
Cool. Are you guys going to talk about Tidal Blades 2?
No, we literally when you were gone, we all said Tim will talk about
We'll
that.
talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like a mixed bag for me. I think that I need to play it more. For me, it seemed like a lot of setup and a lot of work for a very tight and like action selection worker placement kind of game,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
You put your worker, you resolve stuff. It's really tight. It's very punishing if you play poorly. But for a game that looks so beautiful and vibrant, and it seems like it should be a little bit lighter than what it is. Anyways, so they've got Tidal Blades 2. So, it is a beautiful universe that they have crafted, right? They've made it all from scratch. And so now they are giving you the opportunity to get like a role-playing game book, set in that universe. I wrote down basically just like the 2 pledges that I would have looked at, or that I did look at, but there's a $109 version of the game where it comes with the upgrade pack. So you get like the squishy fruit, the upgraded shells, and things like that. There's a $159 version of the game, which is the deluxe version. So that comes with the upgraded components, but it also comes with like 70 plus miniatures, right? So not only the miniatures for for your characters, but miniatures for the other monsters and stuff that you're going to be fighting. A really interesting thing that this one does. So in the original one, you build. I don't even want to say it's a modular board, and I think that this is one of my problems with it. Right, is you set up this board, you put it all together like a puzzle, and it's sort of like a circle, and the arena's in the middle or whatever, and but it's not modular as you could change things around or like spatially where things matter where they're at. Right, it all just fits together. It's cool looking, but again, a lot of work. This one is it's like a Ryan Lockett game almost, where you open up the book and the book is your map, and so it's the different scenarios that you play through. You go to different pages and you've got different maps, and there's some sideboards and things like that you use. Dual layer player boards, Bobby. So just for you,
I'm in.
So originally I was like, man, $159 for like the deluxe version with minis. Like, I don't think so. But then I saw it was like over 70 minis. And I believe like 30 of those minis are like unique sculpts, right? So it's not just like
20 of these.
Yeah. Where you get like your 6 characters you can play as, and then maybe like 2 bosses, and then 100
minions,
little crab guys, whatever. So it looks interesting. Skybound, or Druid City Games, not Skybound. Druid City Games. I mean, they do really well produced games. Like Grim Forest is way overproduced for what that game is, but it's a fun, fairly light game. I do like the James Hudson, the designer, and again, I believe it's like Mr. Cuddington is the name of the artist, and the art is fantastic. The colors are great. I'm probably not backing it, but I do feel like it's worth mentioning because it's a very interesting IP, and I know that for some people they're going to find it very appealing. But that was mine for this week.
Well, this is also the chance that we have to talk about this, because now Tidal Blades 2 is going to be on there and everything. This is the game we've talked about in the past where I actually recommend, Druid City Games for costing us some money here. I actually recommend against the deluxe components. I think that the deluxe components actually make the game worse. Now, the deluxe, obviously this is a different game, so they could have changed the way they do some of it, and obviously the miniatures could be amazing and all that, but like the whole 3D fruit and all that, like I literally just think it takes up space. They roll around the table and they do all this stuff that literally don't impact the game in a positive way at all. They just look cool.
But they're squishy.
They're squishy.
I mean, kind of. But that's the kind of stuff we talk about on the show sometimes that we don't like. They are just there to look cool and add price. Like, unlike Awakened Realms games, which most of the time, the miniatures, while expensive, make the game more streamlined. Like, they are there for a purpose.
Like the doors that come apart?
Right. They usually play some kind of gameplay purpose. I did not find that with the first Tidal Blades. I purposely accepted the non-deluxe version. I was like, no, I will happily take this. I don't want the deluxe one. So yeah, that's just just do your research. Make sure that you actually want to spend the extra money on what you're getting there. Okay, so mine, a huge one that hasn't been mentioned. I actually just saw this morning. I didn't even hear anything about this. But the Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition has a 3 set of expansions out right now. So you get Discovery, Foundations, and Crisis. It ranges from 49 to 89. I believe the 89 is you get base game and the 3 expansions, and then the 49 is just the 3 expansion set. So just some brief stuff that they add. So because these are like, there's a reason it's a 3-pack, right? They're kind of mini expansions. Like the Discovery mainly adds new awards and milestones, so more ways to get points and stuff like that, right? That's what it's there for. Crisis is really interesting. It changes it to a full co-op game, to where you are working together to overcome the crisis and get the thing terraformed. Yeah, I said that one sounds really cool. And then Foundations is the one that everyone was probably expecting. Every game does this, right? It's the 5 to 6 player expansion. It also adds another track, an infrastructure track. So the like oxygen and the water tracks and everything. So this is another actual track.
Infrastructure track.
That's infrastructure. Yeah.
Cool.
And a big box that holds all of it, the base game and the 3 expansions. That
like
will
when they do
probably come with a hole in it.
Aw.
No. But oh yeah,
But
and,
a stronghold, they'll replace it.
that's true. That's true. But and actually, I forgot. In the bigger box, it also comes with a larger version of the board, I guess, which with more space.
Sure.
To do stuff on. But yeah, so again, not a whole bunch of information there because it's expected. You know what you're getting. It's Ares Expedition.
Yep.
They tell you exactly what you're getting in there.
like
If you
that
like the
co-op.
game, it looks like it'll make it
Sounds good.
just the same but better.
Sweet.
That's what I got.
Is that all of crowdfunding?
I think that's all.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Man,
That's
that
shadow.
went fast.
I was having
That's
a
all
hard
right.
time finding a bunch this time of stuff like that we didn't already talk about.
Well, the Jurassic Park one, I'm so skeptical on the Prospero Hall.
Sure.
They make good games. I don't know, but I still am always kind of just,
No, yeah, I get it.
I
not sure.
have actually really enjoyed playing Horrified, and I'm not a huge co-op fan, but
I
I love Horrified. I love it way more than I really thought I should. I also have Pan Am and need to play it. It looks like a really good, quick economic game. The component quality in those games is good. So yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with Prospero Hall games so far.
I have Jaws. Jaws is really good.
That looks
I
good,
need to
too.
play my copy of The Shining, and I really want to get the Nostromo. I forget.
I was gonna say Fate of the Nostromo. Tim and I have been really
Yeah.
want to play that because it looks like gameplay wise, it is Horrified, but in the Alien universe.
Oh, wow.
It looks really
Okay.
good.
Yeah, and that's one of Dan and I's favorite IPs, right?
Right.
So anytime we can get a halfway decent game in the Aliens,
Right. In the
universe.
solid game system of Horrified that seems really good, and then you just slap on Ash and Ripley and all that, and it just looks really good.
Nice.
yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, I enjoy
am
it so much.
excited.
I want to get the American Monsters version,
Right.
and it's just a
I do
retheme,
too.
but it just. Oh, you added the Mothman and the Sasquatch? Okay,
Well,
cool.
I remember when we covered it, there's something about the way the scientists work. No, that's Cryptid. Cryptid is the one that changes. Never mind. There was a sequel to Cryptid that came out that drastically changed how one of the mechanics works. Not Horrified.
Cool.
Well, hey, right on. So that pretty much covers it, right? For our 100th episode. I promise you, you guys, we're going to be doing something more.
What? This felt way
Specifically
different than
sort of-
every other episode ever.
This felt what?
Way
I said-
different.
Yeah, I said what? This
Oh.
felt way different than every other episode we've ever done.
Right. But I really want to make sure we can put some time into it and some
Sure.
effort and come up with something really cool. Unlike every other episode we do, right?
Right.
Where it's not cool.
Low effort, no time.
We're going to give away Tim's Holy Australia box.
Yay!
Yay.
Just the box.
Yeah.
Just the box.
No
Yes.
game.
It's filled with tears, but they leaked out of the hole in the bottom of it. Oh, that was such a
Collector's
bummer,
edition.
but I'm so happy.
Yeah. I'm glad they're fixing it for you.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent.
You suck. But anyways, be sure to check out all the other channels we have under the Game Talk Network umbrella. There's Miniatures Rundown, Magic the Gathering Rundown, Pokemon Rundown. They cover everything that we don't, right? Dan will have his own little dark corner for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Rundown.
Summon the skull, lightning attack. I can't remember what he says.
Wow. Nope. Don't stay tuned for
And then we
that.
will just we will have Mike's disbelief channel, which just Mike do reaction shots to the dancing.
I think it's just lightning.
Or yeah,
strike
every
attack.
time Dan
It's
says
pretty
he's
boring.
a goblin.
I'm a goblin.
Shrinks down.
Not again.
Not again. Also, though, check out. Oh wait, I have to mention, and I should have said it at the top of the show, but I didn't. I'm gonna say it now. Thank you to Voodoo Spectre on the Discord.
Mhm.
Not only did he send us, he had an extra copy of Marvel Villainous. So somebody's gonna make me play Villainous again, and it's gonna be the Marvel one.
Yes.
But I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, he sent us a copy of that, and he just reached out and was like, "Hey, if I send you, I have got an extra one. If I send it to you, would you guys be interested in playing and reviewing?" I'm like, definitely, because I will try any game, right? Even if I don't love OG Villainous.
Mhm.
Marvel one, I'm super excited. I will tell you, I opened it up, and was looking at it. The artwork isn't as good as it is in the Disney villainous, because in Disney they're pulling like almost like screen caps. It feels like
it's like they redrew screenshots. Yeah, it's really interesting how they did it.
Tighten them up, right? And just really great colors. These are almost more. It's almost a little more cartoony than I would like for comic book characters. But I'm not holding that against it. I think that I really want to see how the game plays and everything, and. Still really great colors, and the art is really good. It's just not my preferred style, right, of art. Looks like the power tokens still stink. I also want to say Voodoo Spectre printed out a 3D insert, a 3D printed an insert for me for Unfathomable.
I saw
and
that
oh my gosh, I put it all together, and like the whole time I'm like, I can't wait to play Unfathomable again. I can't wait to play it again. And my cards aren't sleeved, but it will fit
sleeved cards.
The sleeves.
Nice.
So if you are on the Discord and you are interested in those files, I'm sure Voodoo can hook you up with those files, because I think he got them on Thingiverse. So thank you so much. It was super awesome. We are sending him a thank you present. He tried to decline, and I'm insisting.
Yeah.
We're going to send him the prototype that we have a Vigilancy, because he said that sounds fun.
Cool.
So, but anyway, so thank you very much. That was super cool. Obviously, join us on Facebook. Join the Discord community. We're super active there. Mike almost always is like holding court and running all different kinds of conversations on there.
I like to talk about games all the time. And I sit at a desk at work.
Hey.
My bad. I'll stop talking about games.
Don't let Dan dim your light.
Yeah. cut his mic.
But we also, like Oak and Unfinished Business, we were sharing links for that, earlier in the week, like right when that came out, we were sharing links to that on the Discord. So it is also a good way to just kind of, stay up to date. And everything.
Yeah. It is funny. It makes me feel like we're just always behind now, though, huh?
I know. Now, look what I found. Like, they started the Discord like 3 days
especially
ago.
now that we film every 2 weeks. Like, it'll be like, oh, in this week's news, it's everything that the Discord already talked about. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Also, check out our friends at Board Game Mechanics. They do a weekly podcast, and Jason has got all kinds of videos popping up during the week on their YouTube channel.
They're pretty okay.
They're pretty okay. Yeah, they do a good job. Also, this show and our other weekly show, when we're not doing this one, it does show up in podcast form. So if audio is an easier media for you to consume while at work, like for me, then that is there. We're on all of the major podcast platforms, so you can just check us out. Board Game Rundown. It's got that meeple running logo, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, that's it for me. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Shush.
Fair enough. For the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
I've been Mike.
Dan.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in another 100 episodes.
Well, before that.
No, see you in 100 episodes.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.